I first saw the dragon on a cold iron morning inside the military research yard. The creature stood taller than any building, and its scales shone like dark mirrors under floodlights. Engineers said it was bred only for battle and destruction and fear. They called it Project Aegis and treated it like a living weapon with wings. Cannons were mounted along its back, and chains hung from its mighty neck. Soldiers walked around it with nervous steps and kept their rifles ready. Everyone believed the dragon had no heart and no gentle thought. I was only a simple cook assigned to feed the base workers. My job was to carry boxes of food and prepare meals nobody thanked me for. Fate decided that an ordinary man would meet an impossible beast. One evening alarms rang across the yard, and the dragon refused to eat the synthetic fuel they offered. Scientists argued and generals shouted, and nothing worked. The dragon turned its head away from the metal trough and growled like thunder. Someone joked that maybe the monster wanted a real meal instead of chemicals. The commander pointed at me because I happened to be passing by with a crate of fresh steaks. He ordered me to try feeding the dragon since nothing else had succeeded. My legs felt weak, but orders are orders in a place like that. I walked toward the enormous creature, holding the raw red steaks in my hands. The dragon watched me with glowing yellow eyes that looked older than mountains. Every step felt like the last step of my life. I lifted a steak above my head and hoped the end would be quick. Instead of roaring, the dragon lowered its massive head slowly. It sniffed the air, and something impossible happened. The corners of its huge mouth lifted into what looked like a smile. Not a cruel smile, but a warm and happy expression. The soldiers dropped their weapons in shock. I placed the steak on my open palm, and the dragon took it gently. The beast chewed with obvious delight and gave a soft please rumble. From that day forward, I became the official dragon feeder. No scientist understood why the creature accepted food only from me. They tested me and scanned me and asked endless questions. All I knew was that the dragon liked simple, honest meals. Every morning I brought more steaks and sometimes whole barrels of fish. The dragon greeted me with that same strange smile. We formed a routine that felt almost like friendship. I began to talk to the creature while it ate. I told it about my small apartment and my childhood and my dreams. The dragon listened better than any human ever had. Training sessions continued, and the general still planned to use the dragon for war. Jets flew around it and fired harmless practice missiles. The dragon endured everything with patience until the drills ended. When the noise stopped, it looked at me as if asking for comfort. I started to believe the creature was not born evil at all. Maybe it was only lonely and confused in a world of shouting people. One rainy night, the base came under real attack from enemy machines. Explosions shook the ground and fear filled every hallway. The commander ordered the dragon released to defend the base. Chains were removed and the great gates opened wide. Instead of charging into battle, the dragon walked straight to the kitchen where I hid. It lowered a wing around me like a shield. Bullets bounced off its scales while alarms screamed. The generals demanded that I command the dragon to fight. I looked into those wise glowing eyes and understood something important. The dragon would fight only to protect and never to conquer. I climbed onto its back with a bag of steaks tied to my belt. Together we rose into the stormy sky above the battlefield. Enemy machines advanced like a metal ocean across the hills. I fed the dragon a steak and asked it to save the people. The creature roared with a voice that split the clouds. Fire poured from its mouth in controlled streams that destroyed only the weapons. Not a single innocent life was harmed that night. The enemy fled in terror and the base was saved. Everyone called the dragon a hero, but it cared only about the next meal. After the battle, the government wanted to parade the dragon like a trophy. They planned to build more dragons and create an army of monsters. I refused to help them turn my friend into a tool of endless war. The dragon understood my feelings without any words. One quiet dawn we left the base together and flew beyond the mountains. Radar tried to follow us, but the dragon vanished into the high clouds. We found a hidden valley filled with green grass and clear rivers. There the dragon could live without chains and without orders. I built a small cabin and started a peaceful life as a simple cook again. Hunters sometimes see a shadow in the sky and whisper stories. They say a great dragon lives in the wilds and protects the land. And they say a humble man brings its steaks every evening at sunset. Years passed, and the world slowly forgot about the secret weapon. But the bond between a cook and a dragon never faded. Children from distant villages leave gifts of food near the valley entrance. The dragon accepts them with a gentle smile just like the first day. I learned that even creatures made for war can choose kindness. All it takes is one person willing to hold out a hand and a steak. Sometimes I sit beside the dragon on warm summer nights. We watch the stars and listen to the crickets singing. The scars of old battles remain on its scales. Yet peace has softened the fierce fire in its heart. No laboratory could ever understand such a miracle. Friendship grew where fear was supposed to live. Travelers ask me how I tamed such a terrible beast. I always answer that I never tamed anything at all. The dragon decided for itself what it wanted to be. Food and patience opened a door that weapons never could. Love proved stronger than any chain or command. Now the dragon spends its days flying freely above the forests. It helps farmers by moving fallen trees and melting winter ice with warm breath. Children laugh when it performs slow loops in the sky. No one remembers that it was once called a weapon. To them it is simply the smiling guardian of the valley. Every time I carry a fresh tray of steaks up the hill, the dragon lands softly beside me and bows its mighty head. That same happy smile appears without fail. In those moments I understand the truth of our strange story. Power does not decide destiny, and fear does not rule the soul. Even a dragon made for war can learn to smile when someone believes in it. And so our days continue peaceful and ordinary. A cook and a dragon living far from the noise of armies. Proof that the smallest kindness can change the fate of the world. All because one frightened man held out a simple steak, and a creature built for destruction chose instead to smile.